What's up? These are the two cars that me and Elon worked on for our Capstone project. This on the left is a 2008 Golf GTI DSG base, and on the right it's a 1991 Dodge Stealth NA RT. So I originally got this 1991 Dodge Stealth with a lot of problems. It was sitting under a tree since 2008. It had been in a drunk driving collision where the person driving the car was the drunk person. Luckily, they didn't hurt or damage anyone else's property. Apparently, they just hit a tree, but it left the car cosmetically totaled, needing a rear quarter panel rear bumper, fender, and a front bumper. As you can see, it looks like it was picked for parts at one point in its life, as it's missing parts that weren't even damaged in the accident. And since it was sitting for such a long period of time, a lot of the wiring was chewed up by rats. This was originally the car that I was going to use for my Capstone project to learn how to work on cars, but since it had been sitting for so long and had so much rodent damage, it was really hard to work on it. It has a lot of rusty bolts that just don't come off, places you can't even get to the bolts because it's damaged so much. But regardless, I did replace the wheels. I gave it a good wash. I cleaned the interior. I have replaced a little bit of parts, and I have all the cosmetic parts that needed to make it mint again. It still does need a few engine parts, but I'll get to that over the summer because I switched the project after I realized how long this would truly take to fix. The cool part about this Dodge Stealth is it only has 86,000 miles, and it also has a 5-speed manual, which I thought was pretty cool. The story behind the Golf is that I actually found it in person on the side of the road for $800, opposed to where I found the Dodge Stealth on Facebook Marketplace. The Golf had a lot of problems with it. The original wheels were missing the center caps with the logos. The wheels were curved up. It was really rusty. It's still pretty rusty, but the underside is clean. And the mechanical problems were the turbo wasn't working. The transmission would get stuck in first gear because of a transmission computer problem. And it had a myriad of other small issues, like this rear wiper was missing and the bearing that holds the rear wiper on was stuck to the arm. So that actually had to be sawed off. I have fixed a lot of things on this Golf since I got it, but it's still nowhere near done yet. However, it is pretty much road legal and it has no check engine lights. So as you can tell, there is no check engine lights. The only mechanical problem that is left on this car is the fuel gauge doesn't read a lot of times, and the tire pressure light is on. The tire pressure light is not on because the tires are low. It's on because the wheels that I put on it don't have TPMS sensors installed. The fuel pump problem is really easy to solve, and I'm going to be fixing it within the week once the part comes. My goal for this project was to take a car doomed for the crusher or spares and repairs and turn it into a nice running and driving car. As you could see here, this car does have 215,000 miles, meaning that in the state that I found this car in, it was most likely just going to be used for parts. So basically what's going to be happening today is Elon is going to be doing an oil and oil filter change on the GTI to get that done, as it hasn't been done ever since I got the car. And I put 500 miles on it without knowing when the last oil change was. I'm actually going to get one more part to make sure that this oil filter goes off smoothly. I'm going to get an adapter that attaches to a wrench to ensure that it comes off good. On the way to AutoZone to get my part, I actually am going to go to the gas station and refill it. When I refill it to the top of the fuel tank, the gas gauge does work. It's been a few hours. I did a grocery run at the GTI. I got the parts from AutoZone. I just got an oil filter, like adapter for a wrench, and some cleaning supplies. Then I got some water from the store. I actually just got the new fuel pump in. It's right over there. And I just removed the back seats. I'm in the process of removing the old fuel pump. This is the problem to where I can't see the gas gauge, so yeah. So this locking ring is so rusted on it doesn't want to come out, so I sprayed some WD-40 and I hope that works. What I'm doing right now is hitting it with a flathead and then hitting the flathead with a hammer right here, because it's supposed to spin to the left to unlock it to allow me to take out the fuel pump. It's like the last step. Okay, it's the next day. It's super windy out. It's Saturday today. I just went ahead and opened the door, sprayed some WD-40 in there again. I already did it before, but it didn't make much of a difference, but I'll do it again. I left the windows a little creaked down last night because I didn't want the gas fumes to, you know, contaminate the car, but then it started raining. So I actually had to go out at like 2 a.m. and put them back up. So I'm just gonna leave the door open. I spent so much time trying to hammer the locking ring out that I like lost a piece of skin, and I like hammered through the plastic on this flathead. That's how hard I've been hitting that thing. So I'm actually gonna put on some gloves today so I don't have to worry about losing more skin. It's actually only been like 2 minutes and I just got it out. So basically what I did is I sprayed the WD-40 as I said earlier, and then I took this flathead and I inserted it between the fuel pump and the, you know, the locking ring so I could break the rust barrier. And then I just hammered it underneath so the whole thing came loose. And yeah, so I'm actually gonna have to reuse this locking ring and the fuel pump gasket just for now. I did order a new one, but I actually wasn't even aware of like how rusted this was gonna be, and I didn't know my fuel pump wasn't gonna come with the gasket. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put the new one in just so the car can drive for now, and then I'll go back and put in the new ones later. But I've already disconnected the fuel pump hoses. The only thing I need to do is basically just take this out. Oh, thank God. That's so satisfying to get this out finally. Look at all of that rust. And this fuel pump should literally just lift right on out, but my fuel tank is almost full, which is not recommended for this job, but I got the fuel pump in and I filled it up yesterday because I wasn't thinking. So I'm just gonna take out the fuel pump and I'm gonna have to set it in a container because it's gonna be full of fuel. Okay, the old fuel pump is in the box that the new fuel pump came in. And as you can see, that gas tank is all the way to the top. And it smells like gas. I shouldn't be inhaling that for too long. So I'm gonna quickly try and put the new fuel pump in, put the gasket, and then get this all wrapped up. Okay, I just actually put the rear seat loosely in the back and everything's in. Let's see if it starts and reads the fuel pressure, or the amount of fuel. I don't think I put the battery on all the way. Okay, it's all tightened down. Let's try this again. And we've got the fuel. No way it worked. It was almost at full. That's crazy. So we're over here doing an oil change on the GTI. Got the jacks up. So we got the oil plug out. It was pretty hard. It was stuck on there, but oil is draining out right now. I'm gonna put this Castrol Edge full synthetic 5W40 5 quarts in there and a new oil filter. Just recycled the oil at AutoZone. We got the oil and filter changed. The oil filter was in kind of bad condition. It was like crumbling and was like malformed, so I suspect the oil hasn't been changed in a long time like it's supposed to, but oh well, she has no engine lights and still runs good. So as you can see, the fuel works every time now. So yeah, sorry I left out a bunch of steps and things that I did with this car. It's pretty hard to work on a car and record at the same time, but I pretty much got everything I wanted to get done with it done. She drives and runs really good. I just have to do some more maintenance things now. I do have some new parts in the trunk that I have to put in the engine, but it's just I couldn't get to it today with the deadline of the project. But the car looks way better than when I first got it. It's a little dirty right now, but that's because it keeps raining. However, the interior looks amazing. I pretty much fixed everything in the interior. It didn't even have floor mats when I got it. It has a working sunroof. The only small cosmetic flaws with the car that's left on the inside is the headliner sagging a little bit, which is very, very common on this generation of car. And then this thing is sagging down, which just needs one screw. But yeah, I've got a nice enthusiast sports car that I can do modifications on and continue to make it better than it ever was. I'm gonna get to the rust at some point in the future, but the underside is completely clean, so I don't have to worry about the car rusting away. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it.